Hey everyone, welcome back to the stream, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video, and possibly the final chapter in building this guy right here. That's the F-15E by Great Wall Hobbies that we have turned into Republic of Korea Air Force F-15K Slam Eagle. And here we are. She doesn't look anywhere near as shiny as she did last time, does she? No, and that is because after doing the weathering on it with all my weathering stuff using the AK panel liner, after doing that, I laid down a nice coat of flat clear. And so she's not looking nearly as glossy and shiny and a little more realistic. Yes, there is, even with Tamiya's flat clear, there is a little tiny bit of a sheen, but that's quite all right. Don't mind that at all. So, we got some stuff to put on this now, and we are getting ready for the final stages. I've got all my little niblets all laid out here, and we're getting ready. We're nearing the finish line. We're getting there, okay? So I think the first thing we need to address is that this little bird has been sitting on her belly for a long time, and it's finally time to put on the landing gear. So we're going to flip her over, and I'm going to use a little bit of that. Actually, I can just do this and it should be fine. Okay, landing gear. We have the landing gear all assembled and painted, and it's all ready to go on. And it's been sitting over here for a long time on my little alligator clips, just waiting for the time, waiting for the opportunity to actually go on. There's our 3 wheels there. Okay, so I do want to just refer to the instructions really quickly here. There's our tail fins. Here's our landing gear. Okay, so we're going to start with the front. Okay, front landing gear. That's going to be this guy here. He's going to go in like this. Let's see how tight of a fit it's going to be. I've noticed with this kit, the tolerances are very tight when it comes to fitting everything. So it's one of those things. It looks like it'll go in fine. I just need to add some glue. It's funny how when you dry fit some things, it doesn't really want to go, and as soon as you put some glue on it, the glue kind of acts like a lubricant and helps it to fit better. The front piece doesn't really want to go down into the hole. There we go. We're in. Alright, perfect. And now we're going to take our bay doors. This one has to hook in under here. I have to keep taking my glasses off. You know what? I'm also forgetting to change the camera for you guys so you can see. Sorry about that. There we go. I think it's going to take a second. There we go. Okay. And I apologize if it's way over here on this side. That's just the way my desk is, and that's how it's got to be. Okay. Couple of little dabs of glue on there. And on the end of that. There we go. That's on. And we have our side door. And it needs to go right here. Just like so. Not quite like so, but very close. There we go. Sorry if my big head's in the way. I need to be able to see this. And I just screwed up. Okay, there we go. That one's on. So, that's our front. Front is done. Make sure that it is straight up and down. Yep, it's about as good as I can get it. Okay, so that's it for our front landing gear. That's done. So we'll move on to the rear. Okay, now if you guys remember correctly, the one I had trouble with this side. It really didn't want to fit in the hole properly. And that is going to be this wheel here. I really had to do a lot of messing around to get that to even just slide in like that. And that was a real pain. And it's super tight. But with a little bit of glue, hopefully we're doing good. I don't think it lines up with the front hole. Yeah, see, they have the hole. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll show you on the other side here. So, you notice this hole here is not quite against the wall, this wall divider here. But the actual arm goes right up against that wall. And just the location of it and everything, it will not go in that hole. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is on there. This side, for some reason, is a little bit better, but it's not going in the hole. It doesn't line up. Just the way that they've designed it to work, it doesn't line up. And yet this side does. Everything is identical, but even the angle of at which this sits, everything is the same, but this one does not line up with the hole and this one does. So I don't know why. I really don't know why. But it works. Okay, we need our little bay doors to go on here now. So we have these smaller ones that I got some decals on and everything, and they're all ready to go. That's one. That's two. And then I have these four, which are still on the sprue. So I gotta take those off. Ding. Get these guys off of here. All ready for their home. One, too. I'm gonna have to clean up the nubs on those two pieces because they put them in a curved spot. Okay. And that's it for that, so I'll get rid of this real quick here. Just so it's a little bit smaller in my garbage can. Okay. Let's clean these up. I'm going to close up my glue in case I spill it. I don't want to do that. Who's this? Oh, hi Mega Boy. I didn't hear from you last time. It was really unusual. You always say hello and then you don't say anything else. That's kind of funny. That's okay. At least it lets me know somebody is out there watching. Okay, those are cleaned up. These are curved, so it's hard to get at to get close with the nippers. Okay, there's that one. There's that one. These, I believe, are already cleaned up. Yes, they are. All right. Okay, so let's see how these are supposed to go. We're going to take these guys and they go on the inside here, like so. We just have to get the right ones. That's for this side. And this one's going to go like that. See, that's tight. That doesn't even want to go in there. I always find the landing gear bay doors always a little bit of a challenge to get in, to have them lined up, to make them straight. It's always a bit of a challenge, you know. It's for me anyway. And of course, the slightest little nudge and they get screwed up. That looks about right for that one. This one is kind of its own little beast because it wants to bind up against the actual arm. There's nothing I can do about that one. Okay, so then we have these doors and they go in here on this part. Okay. That's going to sit like that. Now we get this one. Turn it around, get it facing the right way. we have those. Okay, those are in. And finally we got these guys. And so we got this guy going in on this side. I have seen some kits that have these doors closed for some reason. I don't know if the F-15s, if they naturally have them closed or open. I've seen both situations. Maybe they leave them open for when they're actually doing maintenance on it or something, but in general everyday situations, these doors close back up. I really don't know. Now, admittedly, these doors, these bigger ones, don't sit in here nearly as, they don't slot in as good as the other ones. I'm turning this around so I can get this lined up better because it doesn't seem to want to line up where it's supposed to. There we go. Alright, our landing gear bay doors are in. One thing I do want to check before I move on. Good morning, Uala. I want to check the fitment of this because of these inner doors. I want to make sure that's going to fit in there properly. And looks like we're going to be good to go. Okay, that's good. So while I'm here, I might as well just put this one, mount this guy here. Let's get this guy in his home. Okay, let's make sure he's straight up and down. He's pretty good. Alright. Okay. So we continue to focus on the underside. Maybe a little bit. I'll put these pods on. They should be okay. We've got these little pods that go on here. All our little mounting holes that we had to drill. Especially for this little one, it takes 4 holes. Just like that. Straight up and down. Yes. Okay. Then we have this guy. And he goes on this side. Go. Again, straight up and down. Yes, perfect. Alright. One thing I will do as a last final thing, once I've got all this done, I'll spray another flat clear over this to make everything uniform, because even though I've done that already, you get a little bit of glue sticking out just a little tiny bit. Suddenly you get these shiny glossy spots, right? And that's just the nature of the glue and how it happens. So landing gear is done. Our pods are done, at least in the middle. I still have these, These are going to go on the wings, but I'll deal with those in a bit. I want this to kind of dry a little bit before I tackle that part. I have our what are these called? Let me look. They are the G.W.H SDB. Okay. They're going to go on like this. Okay. All 4 of them on these 4 spots. The center ones don't get used. Okay, these 2 in the middle don't get used. So I've got them painted, and you might notice they are a slightly lighter gray than the rest of the plane, and I've done that on purpose. I wanted these ones just to stand out just a little tiny bit to show, hey, these actually are different. So these are going to line up on the little pegs. In theory, yep, lines up on the pegs. Well, pretty good. They do and they don't. It's not 100%. Let's take a look here. They're supposed to line up on both pegs. They kind of do and they kind of don't. Well, they do. Once you get it lined up, it sits proper. But those really are the only mounting points on such a long little pod. Once you get it lined up, they do sit nice though. So I'll give them that. Let's do another one. Check our alignment. Yeah, we're good. There we go. Okay, that's those 2. Let's check this side. So now we're getting into a bit of a fitment thing. I'm just going to check it on this one. Is this one good too? Before I commit to gluing either of them. This one is a bit... Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, we're fine. We're good. We're good. It's good. It's good. Just getting it lined up is a challenge, I think. But once you get there, it's there. All right. And our last one there. Falls in, oop. I was just about to say it falls into place flawlessly, and then it did that. But look at that. We're in, we're done. Okay. Let us move on to our engines. Okay. Now we have our resin engines to go on this guy. Okay, and so they are going to be a bit of a challenge on their own because they're not, I can't use regular glue. I have to use CA glue, and I kind of hate CA glue. I kind of hate it, but it is what it is, and so I've got to use it. If I wanted to go crazy, I could go straight out of the bottle and go on here, but I don't want to go crazy with it like that. So I will pour some in here. And go that route. This around so I can see it. Unfortunately, when you try and put it on a large area like this, it dries super quick. Well, it's part of its thing, right? It's supposed to dry quick, but not necessarily as quick as this. You don't want it, and this ain't working for me. It's not working for me. I'm gonna have to sacrifice a brush. To get it on here in a quantity that it's actually going to be useful for me. This is what I gotta do. Okay. Now, if I need to put more, which apparently I do, let's put a little bit on here. Glued my finger good. So that's a good sign. Get any excess, I want to clean it up with my Q-tip. Yeah, we've got some. It's holding now. It's holding now. So there we go. That's one. Let's grab our other one. With this being a resin part and not a kit part, it doesn't fit 100%, but that's okay. There we go. I think we got, yeah, it's holding. All right, there we go. Oh, I just knocked it. So much for holding. Let's try it again. Okay. Let's try not to knock. Let's try not to knock that again. There we go. Now I could actually now use this to try and get in that gap a little bit. Okay, there we go. I think that's good enough for those. Let's get this stuff out of the way. This brush is now no more good, but that's okay. I've got like 100 of them, or I got a lot of them anyway. Okay, I think we are ready to set this girl on her feet for the first time. Bingo. She's a little wobbly up front. Because she's not quite glued in solid. I must have moved it a little bit by mistake when I was gluing her. Now I'm a little wary about the engines and how they're going to sit, so let's just do this. I need to re-glue our front. See what I just did? I brushed it with the brush right there, nowhere near what I wanted to do. And of course now it's hard to get the landing gear, the glue down at the bottom where it needs to be. Okay. If that doesn't hold it, I might wind up having to pull the landing gear out of there. Oh, thank you for just randomly falling off, door. I didn't even touch this door. It just fell off. Didn't even touch it, it just randomly fell off. Maybe I did touch it before and never noticed touching it? I don't know. Okay. And now it doesn't want to stay in position. Kind of does and it kind of doesn't. Let's flip it over and see if the door falls off again. Okay, we can finally put our piece on here that's been waiting so patiently for so long to be installed. Waiting for so long. That's on. We got our front part of the canopy. I think I'm just going to give this a little bit of a wipe to make sure there's no dust in it. He's going to go right on there. And we're going to use our thin set because that's what I use for canopies. Okay. Press that down just a little bit to make sure she's seated. There we go. Now, if I was going to glue the other part of the canopy on, I would do that now, but I'm not doing that. But we're going to test fit. It is a tight fit. With the little piece of photo etch that they give you to put at the back, behind the rear seat, it makes it a really tight fit in there. But it does fit, and the canopy looks pretty good going up to the front, and your width is pretty good. The bow on it is good. It does sit very nice. But it, like I said, it is tight. It's not going to fall off on me. I turn that upside down, it's still there. And so it's good and it's bad, right? It makes it a bit of a challenge. But that piece of photo etch, I'll take this off now and I'll show you. The piece of photo etch that's on the back there, see it glowing nice and brass color? This piece here, that there, that comes in the kit, and you're supposed to put it on there, and it makes it a super tight fit in behind the seat here. And so what I actually did was I took my knife and I just shaved off, the back edge of this a little bit to allow this to slide down in there, because it was just hitting the top and it didn't want to go down in behind like it's supposed to. And obviously I haven't even painted this yet, but yeah. Okay, let's do tail fins. Tail fins are painted up and they are good to go. This one is going to go here. There is designated lefts and rights based on the size of the hole. This is a little short hole, this is a long one, right? And so you've got short and long on these, okay? And so that's why you can't get them mixed up. I suppose you could, and then you wonder why this one won't fit in here when you've got this one glued in. But yeah. So bit of glue on there, a little bit here just for added measure. There we go. It's pretty much straight up and down. I always have a look once I've got both of them on, and then I'll determine which, if they need some adjusting. Because they almost always do. It's very rare to have a kit where once you put the wings on you don't need to adjust them. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good there. Now, elevators, we'll do those last. Okay? Why am I doing those last? Because they don't get glued on. Now, what I've done is kind of painted myself into a corner because I need to put on our wing pylons, but I've now put my elevators on, and so it's going to want to rest on them. So this is my solution for that. A couple of cans of paint that are going to be taller than the plane itself. And these are going to rest on the wings. Sometimes you get a plane that balances really nice, and then that's great, and sometimes you don't. This one seems to balance pretty good, especially since I'm not going to require a whole bunch of force to put these on. These holes actually were the bigger holes. The holes that you need for these on the front, they're so big for these pegs. It's my pin vise. This bit is not actually a bit that came with the vise. This is from a drill bit set, and I've shaved it down to fit in here, just so I've got a nice big one. But even with this bit, I wound up having to get the hole through and then drill on an angle like this to widen up that hole to fit on there. It's the size of the peg they've put for that is just insane. Okay, so we want, which ones we want? These, the AIM 9s on the outside edges. So this one is actually for this side. So we'll do this side first. Line up those holes. And get her done. Do a quick check for straight up and downness. We are good. All right. Now, just for my sake, I need to turn this around. Okay, so that I can do this one. Once again, line up our holes. A little bit of pressure to make sure the glue sets. Check for straight up and down. I just bent one of the wings with my finger by mistake. Not the wings, the elevators. That's okay. No harm, no foul. This one just moved. Okay. Yeah, this one is giving me some grief. Okay. And therein lies the pitfalls of putting on so many parts at one time. Okay. Let that sit for a minute while the glue sets. We can put the elevators on now. tight fit on these. I want to be careful not to touch anything else while doing this. These are a tight fit. They almost don't want to go in. You hear that crack? That's it really being stubborn. They are a tight fit. Okay? So to keep that in mind, remember when I test fit these? Yeah, see, my one wing pylon has decided it doesn't want to stay because I moved it too much. So let's try gluing it again. Okay, now this time don't knock it with my fingers. That's going to be the trick. And I think that is it. I think that's the final assembly. Obviously, I have to let it sit for a few minutes and let the glue set on all this. But other than that, it's done. She is finished. I'm going to let the glue sit and be complete on this guy. And do one last final, just a little clear, flat clear on the bottom here to just seal everything in as a unit. Get rid of all the little tiny little bits of glossy glue that may be squeezed out from the edges. But other than that, she's finished. I don't need to put any clear on the top. That's all done. But if I did need to do that, then obviously I got to mask off the canopy, because you can't put flat clear over a canopy and expect it to look good. And that's just the way it is. But that's it. And I think the results are really, she's turned out looking really nice. And I hope I do honor to my Korean friends out there with this one. It's a lot better than the Academy kit was. I am still going to finish the Academy kit. I'll put it together. I'll do an assembly thing on it. I'm just not going to bother doing all the painting and weathering and stuff like that. Just for completion. I will complete the Academy kit. I know I've got like parts 1 and 2 or something like that out there on my channel, and then that's it. It stops there because I switched over to this. And this one, I'm definitely much happier with the build on this one. It came together much nicer. That is for sure. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to call it done, guys. And yeah, I'm going to have to take a break from my normal thing. If you guys watching my channel, you know I've been playing around with the Molotow Chrome. I'm going to try buffing this up, and we'll see how that comes out. And maybe do a short, quick little video on that later on. But I will take some pictures of this when she's all done, and put it on my Instagram, where you can see some nice clear pictures of this guy, and all my flaws, as there's always some on there. But yeah, that's about where we're going to end it for today. I think this actually is a shorter clip than I thought it would be. But yeah, that's it, guys. We're finished. Finally done. And yeah, so what's my next project? I'm still pondering what my next build's gonna be. I have over a dozen different kits to work on, and I'm not quite sure which one I want to do next. So I'll take a week to decide. Maybe I'll do a Gundam, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a tank. I got another tank to build. Maybe another plane. I don't know. I got to think about it. We'll see what I feel like next. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end this one. We're all done, guys, and she looks pretty beautiful to me. Nice, beautiful F-15, and yeah, awesome. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Gonna end it here, and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you all in the next one.